What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their coffee beer. So they're calling this one a Peanut Butter Imperial Stout brewed with chocolate and coffee. It comes in at 10.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs. Listen, time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher for hooking me up with this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with. And this was the star of the show when I opened up the box. Like, totally the star of the show. But there have been some really good hop forward beers in that box so far. So this, I don't know if it's going to be the star of the show. I hope so. So one of my favorite Imperial Stouts from them, and one of my favorite beers, period, from them, was their Fat Bear, which was basically this bear. See what I did there? I don't even know what I'm doing. It's this beer, but without coffee. It was just a Peanut Butter Imperial Stout with chocolate. So they're adding coffee to the mix. Now here's the thing. That was one of the best peanut butter beers I've ever had. I don't know if adding coffee to that beer is going to make it better for me personally. I like coffee. Don't love coffee. I like it. But I really do like it in Imperial Stouts and in Stouts in general. So I'm hoping that it's better than that beer, but I think I gave that beer a 4.75, 4.8. So we'll see. It's going to be tough to beat it. But regardless, I'm probably not going to try to compare it to that beer just because, you know, it's kind of the easy thing to do. But it's also the maybe proper thing to do. I don't know. Anyway, it's coming out a little bit. Let's give it a pour here. Okay. I'm not going to pour it all in, even though this beer, or this, I just want to keep on saying bear and beer. Cheating? Yeah, delicious. I fucking shouldn't cheat it. It's just because this glass can hold, you know, enough. I think it's like 19.5 ounces. I'm going to pour it all in there. Anyway, that looks beautiful. Pitch black, poured out like motor oil. About a finger of a really dark brown colored head. Super creamy looking. Looks beautiful. Let's get a nose. Oh, I just love how, almost like how the head is just sticking around almost like nitro-esque. And there are sheets of alcohol on the side. Anyway. I don't know what it is about this beer, but the peanut butter character in this beer is like top 3 of peanut butter beers I've ever had. Like, it's just, it fucking does it for me. The smell in me, oh my God. I was going to, you know, do the cop out of smells like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but you mix it with a coffee crisp. A lot of Americans probably don't know what coffee crisps are. They're basically a chocolate bar in Canada that has coffee in it, and it's a sweeter, you know, because it's chocolate, and I think it has like, it's like a layered bar, but it's like you took one of them and you mixed it with a Reese's, right? That's the easy way to go. I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. To me, I'm getting a Reese's Puff cereal. And it's like that with a coffee cereal. And a coffee cereal I had maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I saw it on the shelves. I bought it. It was Dunkin's. Like, they had a coffee, I forget the name, it was like maybe a latte or something cereal. It was like you took that cereal and mixed it in with Reese's Puff cereal. That's what I'm getting here, more so than the actual candy bars themselves. There's a ton of peanut butter. There's a lot of like sweeter milk, maybe like a Hershey's dark chocolate. And then you're getting this nice coffee roast, but it's like I'd say like a medium coffee roast. It's not like huge and in your face, but it's noticeable. It smells really good. Does it smell as good as the OG Fat Bear? Probably not, honestly. While the coffee is nice in there, I don't think it's bringing anything to the table that, for me, makes it better than that beer, but it still smells divine. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Hop Butcher. Yeah, I really like that. I really, really like that. Here's the thing. Tell you right now from the get-go, this is not as good as Fat Bear for me. Just not. I think if you're somebody who loves coffee, you're going to love this beer if you enjoyed Fat Bear. Because it takes what Fat Bear was and just introduces coffee in there. So it's not just a peanut butter Imperial Stout with chocolate. Now you're adding coffee and you're adding another level of complexity and nuances. And if you really like coffee, then you're gonna, I don't see how you wouldn't like this, especially if you like Fat Bear. For me, not being an absolute coffee lover, and here's the thing, I have seen, I think it was Kyle over at No Hype, and I believe Sean over at Nerd Sense. I don't know if Mike was a part of it. They did a joint review of this. I did not watch it because I didn't want to be influenced, But those two being like coffee nerds, I think they're going to love this one. I don't love it, but I really enjoy it. Anyway, body and mouthfeel. Body's lower side of full, medium full. It's not, straight full. It's not super thick and viscous, but there's a little bit of oily kind of slick sensation on the palate. Mouthfeel, carbonation, but really smooth, quite creamy, really nice. So body, damn nice. Mouthfeel, excellent. The taste. The thing is I'm getting like 75% of fat bear in this one, which for me makes it really delicious. But I think the coffee, the introduction of the coffee for me personally is bringing this down a level from the original fat bear. So to me, would you see that as a negative? For me personally, yeah, I guess so. I guess it is to some degree. Because right at the forefront, I'm hit with this like creamy peanut butter sensation. And it's creamy peanut butter. Then right after that, it's kind of where for me, the coffee and the chocolate mix in and you get like mocha vibes. But I feel like the coffee's kind of dominating the chocolate. So where with fat bear, you got like Reese's peanut butter cups are like a peanut butter and chocolate kind of blend that's phenomenal. You think that's going to happen here, but the coffee intertwines with everything and kind of mixes up. Again, go back, it's kind of like Reese's Puff cereal meets that Dunkin' cereal. And while it's sweet up front, about halfway through the palate, that coffee stays with you. And then on the back of the palate, I'm hit with a like coffee bitterness, but also like a generic like earthy bitterness as well. The drinkability of this is probably better than the fat bear in terms of that beer was quite sweet, quite rich, quite decadent. This is rich and decadent, but it's not as sweet as that beer. So I think the drinkability is better, but I don't like the fact that I'm getting that like roasted coffee earthiness kind of finish. I feel like for me, this is supposed to be like a pastry stout to some degree, right? And I think it's losing some of that for me. And again, this is a personal preference. This is my opinion of it. But even though I'm saying all this stuff, it's still a really fucking good beer. It's hard. It's because I'm comparing it to Fat Bear that I think in my mind, I'm just like, it can't touch that beer for me personally. Therefore, I'm sitting here saying this. And when I say my score, you're still going to be surprised. But like, it's still really good. It's just not, it's not Fat Bear. And it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a coffee version of Fat Bear. And I think it is exactly what they're telling you it is. So it's probably a terrible review. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things where like I probably shouldn't compare it to Fat Bear, but I feel like I have to because that is this beer plus coffee, or that beer plus coffee. So yeah, hides the alcohol extremely well. A little bit of warming in the chest and the stomach. Nothing on the palate at all for me. Maybe that dryness is a little bit like alcohol astringency, but outside of that, no. What would I need from this beer to be better? I don't know. Here's the thing. I think for one of the few times I can say, I don't know if there's anything that would make this specific beer better because I think what they're going for, they nailed it. Like they took Fat Bear, they added coffee to it, and that's what's in my glass. It's totally not like, oh, I'm not getting the coffee. I'm getting everything. I just don't think it works as well as the OG beer. That's where I land with this one. But it's still really fucking tasty. So let me pour the rest in here. We'll go rating. Like I said, this is one of those reviews where it's like I have to stress that I enjoy this beer quite a bit. Because, again, you have to understand, I'm not just sitting here reviewing this beer, sitting down, watching TV or on the internet, and just like, oh, I'm going to pop it on a tap and give it a whatever. I'm trying to review it, trying to break it down, trying to let you know how I feel about it. So in the back of my mind is always going to be Fat Bear. I gave that a super high score. You introduce coffee into that beer, that's this beer. And I don't think the coffee brings enough to the table or anything to the table for me personally to enjoy this one. But I feel like there's going to be people out there that will like this one more than Fat Bear. So I have to state that like this, again, personal preference. And hopefully if you watch BeerTube and you watch reviews on YouTube and you watch my channel, this is always my personal opinion. So I think rating for this one, I'm going to give it a fair rating for what I enjoy, but it's going to be substantially lower than the Fat Bear. So Coffee Bear from Hot Butcher. Low 4.25 out of 5, I'm going to go 4.2. So this is like a half point lower than Fat Bear, and that's where it lands for me. Now I'm going to go watch, after I'm done here, go watch Kyle and Sean and whoever else reviewed it in my circle of friends who get Hop Butcher stuff, or even people on Untappd, check out their check-ins and see what they think. I think Fat Bear was such a delicious, top-tier, like pastry stout or crazy adjunct imperial stout that it's going to be tough for any beer from Hop Butcher to live up to that, especially an imperial stout. But I just think for me, this didn't touch that. Still really good. 4.2 out of 5 is a fucking great score. It's just that's not fat. It's not Fat Bear. Anyway, tasting notes. Roasted coffee. Yeah. Creamy peanut butter. Yes. Like I said, the front of the palate, you get a lot of creamy peanut butter. And then it, for me, devolves into that coffee and chocolate, battling for supremacy, and coffee wins out. And then rich chocolate. Yeah, sure. I mean, kind of generic and standard tasting notes. But yeah, they pretty much nailed what they're going for. Stylistically, the Coffee Bear, if this is Fat Bear with coffee, which it is, this is like, close to a 5 out of 5 for what they're going for. Like, they've achieved it, in my opinion. They totally did. Not much more to say about this. Price and availability. I think this is $19, $20 4-pack in the Chicagoland all day long for a 10.5% Imperial Stout with peanut butter, coffee, and chocolate. Yeah, $5 a can. Yeah, it's actually a steal in this market. Availability all over the place. I don't know about this beer specifically, but you can find their stuff on craftshack.com overseas. Drips and Drabs will show up across the U.S. Recently got like 4 or 5 beers here in the West New York area. So if you want Hop Butcher stuff, you can definitely get your hands on it. This, to me, really tasty, just not Fat Bear. And might be unfair to this beer to compare it to that one. Whatever. At the end of the day, a 4.2 out of 5 is a fucking phenomenal score on my rating system. And I'm going to go and drink the rest of this and enjoy every second of it. It's just, maybe it's one of those nostalgia things where it's like Fat Bear is one of the first Imperial Stout I had from them. So, I'm getting in my feels and I'm like, I remember that beer being absolutely delicious. And now, I drink this one and it's just not as good as that one for me. And it's just like, I don't know, whatever. Who the fuck cares? At the end of the day, ratings, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I like this beer. Not as good as Fat Bear. We're going to shut it down. Thanks again to Hop Butcher for sending me this beer and all the goodies and all the beers they send me in general. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you've had this beer, if you've had Fat Bear, if you've had both, what one did you like better? Did you like Coffee Bear? Did you like Fat Bear? Post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it because they're both delicious beers in their own right. It's just Fat Bear wins out for me. And that's how it's going to be. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.